I'm Lara. I am dressed as barn owl because this lesson is all about owls. Well, it's not a lesson really, is it? I do stream free live lessons with printouts to home educators, and I do IGCSE physics lessons, but this is a Lego story show where I just tell you about a thing I learned about this week, and we do an activity, and we hear a Lego story at the end. So yeah, you wanted me to learn, I can't remember who suggested it, what a brilliant idea. You wanted me to talk about barn owls versus true owls. Now I, probably like most of you, thought that there were owls and different kinds of owls, and one of those different kinds of owls was a barn owl. No, there are two different owl families. So we've talked a lot about in theatre science how scientists separate out the animal kingdom into like different kind of families, but yeah, there are two different whole families of owls which have got different species of owls in them. Didn't know this. So there are true owls, the family Strigidae? I don't know, I don't speak Latin, do I? But anyway, there's over 200 species of these true owls. And then barn owls are a whole family of owls, a smaller family. There's roughly, different websites give different amounts, but roughly 20 species of barn owl. So here's the smallest true owl and the biggest true owl. Apparently there's about, I mean, you can't see from these photos, sorry, but the elf owl is about 100 times smaller than the Eurasian eagle owl. So true owls have got like large heads, short little tails. They've got kind of big eyes that are very far forward. Generally speaking, they live in trees, and they've got amazing coloured eyes is one way to spot a true owl. So you can see here the elf owl in that photo, it's got like yellow eyes, and the Eurasian eagle owl has got orange eyes. In the barn owl family, they've got heart-shaped faces, and they've got dark eyes. They don't have those beautiful orangey yellow eyes. So this is a barn owl, and they don't have any ear tufts either. So it's a bit confusing because there is just one type of owl that is called a barn owl, like the Western barn owl or common barn owl, which is, if you live in the UK like me, is what you think of when you think of barn owl. But there are also loads of other different kinds of barn owls with the heart-shaped faces and the no ear tuft things, which we'll talk about in a sec. If you know about owls and it's making you angry that I'm saying ear tufts, I know, we'll get to it. But yeah, there are different kinds of barn owls around the world as well. Right, so the big thing about owls, wait, here's my rainbow owl. The big famous thing about owls is the fact that they hunt in very, very low light. I think this is what has made owls evolve to be so amazing. It's their eyes and their ears that humans are sort of infatuated with, because they've evolved to be able to catch things when it's getting dark. So they need to be able to hear really well. They need to be able to see really well. But what you think of as being the ears on an owl, or maybe the horns on an owl, are not ears or horns. Look, I wrote this down. I was so impressed when I found this out. Because you've got the long-eared owl and the short-eared owl, and here's a picture of the great horned owl, but these are not horns. They're just little ear tufts. And I think I put another one in. Yeah. So the eastern screech owl has got the absolutely magnificent tufts. But they're not ears. They're not even anywhere near where the ears are. The ears of an owl are on the side of its head, like where ours are, and the things that get called the horns or the ears are at the top, and they're just feathers. They serve a few different purposes. So they think, well, most of the owls that have these little ear tufts, remember the barn owls don't. Owls that have ear tufts tend to live in quite dense foresty areas, and they think maybe it's how they communicate with each other, that it's a way of them to stay silent, but they can communicate with their family by raising their ear tufts, maybe. It's very cool. Or maybe it's for camouflage. Apparently when owls are in trees, because most of them do live in trees, when they're trying to like camouflage themselves, apparently they kind of flatten their ear tufts and move them down a bit, which might be sort of covering up their face, which means you don't obviously see an owl's face when you're scouring in the trees. Yeah, so that's the first thing. That was the first shocker, is that the ears on an owl are not actually the ears. Let's talk about the eyes and do this activity that is like a really classic activity, and I've never really been able to get it to work, to be honest with you, but I'll show you it anyway. So I believe the eyes on an owl are the most forward-facing eyes on any bird. There's a big difference between where the eyes are on a prey animal, an animal that gets hunted, and where the eyes are on an animal that does the hunting. So we've done a horse show. Probably still one of my favourite shows, actually. This is looking down on a horse, right? And we looked at how a horse is a prey animal, like horses and deer. They've got to be alert all the time, right? There are things that are trying to creep up on them and eat them. So a horse and a deer have their eyes right on the far side of their head, which gives them really good peripheral vision. We're going to do a lot of activities just using our bodies today. So if you stare straight ahead and hold your hand behind you, and so you can't see your hand, right? Keep staring ahead, but move your hand forwards, and eventually your hand will, I still can't see it, even though it's right there, I can't see it. Move it forwards, eventually it'll appear. You say that your hand is in your peripheral vision. So humans are hunters, right? Traditionally, we are predators. We haven't evolved to be always looking around us to see what's there. We're concentrating on finding our food. So we don't have fantastic peripheral vision. A horse has got great peripheral vision because it needs to be able to see all the way around it to see what's coming. Humans and owls have got their eyes right on the front of their heads because this gives them very good what's called binocular vision. Here's my owl from above. So let's talk about what binocular vision is. Basically where what you see crosses over. Right, get your finger please. Stretch out your hand and point your finger and just close one eye and put your finger right in front of you. Ideally, put your finger so that it's covering something up, maybe something on the wall. I've got a little scratch of paint in front of me on the wall, so I'm going to cover that up, or cover up a bit of a picture or something. And then if you switch eyes, so if you've got your eye closed, put your finger out in front of you, covering up something on the wall. If you switch eyes so your other eye's open and your other eye's closed, you will find that your finger moves, right? It dances around in front of your face. That's because obviously your eyes are in different places. So your eyes have got slightly different views of the world. So you can see one eye sees the finger in one place, one eye sees the finger in a slightly different place. Your brain takes those two different images from your eyes and puts them together and uses that information from both eyes to pinpoint where stuff is. And that's what we call binocular vision. So this area, the closer your eyes are together, the sort of better binocular vision you have. Because on the horse image that I showed you, there was very little overlap between what one eye saw and what the other eye saw, whereas on the owl, there's loads of overlap. And on humans as well, there's quite a lot of overlap. So owls and humans are very good at pinpointing where stuff is. Because if you're an owl, you've got to catch like 2 mice a day to survive. If you're feeding your young, you've got to catch maybe 20 mice a day. So you've got to be very good at finding out exactly where stuff is and grabbing it. There's an activity you can do with 2 pens, which apparently demonstrates this. I'm too good at it. You're supposed to hold 2 pens and you're supposed to, I don't want to do it because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but you hold the pens like this and you move your hands towards each other without, well no, you do look. Yeah, you get to look at the pens, but you have to close one eye. So you close one eye and you move the pens towards each other and you have to try and get the pens to touch each other. And the idea is, because you've closed one eye, you haven't got that binocular vision. Your brain's only receiving information from one eye, so your binocular vision isn't very good and the tips of the pens won't touch. But they always just touch when I do it. Let's try it. So hold your pens far, far, far apart. Close one eye. Move your pens towards each other. You can look at them, look at the tips of the pens and try and get the tips of the pens to touch. Yeah, it just works for me. I don't know, I'm just too great. I can't do it. The other one you can do is just with your fingers. Try and do it with your fingers. Maybe I'm using my good eye. I'll use my weaker eye. Close the other eye if you're too good at it. Try and touch your fingers together and you should find, yeah, no, it just kind of, I mean, it wasn't perfect. Maybe with my little fingers it'll be harder. Kind of. Anyway, it's not perfect because actually people who've only got sight in one eye, they have still got binocular vision often because your brain can adapt. But that's supposed to be how that activity works. So, owls, come here little dude. Owls have got very good binocular vision. They've also got massive eyes, absolutely enormous eyes, because you might have noticed this. When you go if you go into a dark room that's got a mirror, have a look at what your pupils do. Your black bits in your eyes are holes where light gets in. And if you're in a very dark place, then your pupils get really big to let lots more light in so that you can see, obviously. And if you're in a really bright room, your pupils get very small because you don't want to damage your eye by letting too much light in. So owls, because they come out at night to do their hunting, I read that they're not actually that closely related to like hawks and falcons. So they're not sort of technically raptors, but I read somewhere that they're like raptors on the night shift, basically. You can kind of think of them as being hawks or falcons on the night shift. So yeah, they've got huge eyes because they need their eyes to be really big to let in loads of light to make up for the fact that there isn't very much light around. Their eyes are so big that owls don't actually have eyeballs like we do. They've got longer eyes, and their eyes are surrounded by these, I've forgotten the word again. I knew I was going to forget the word. It's kind of bone. It's not cartilage. Their eyes are like trapped in their body by big structures called sclerotic rings. Sclerotic rings. They've got these rings around them. They're sclerotic rings which hold them in place. Which leads us to the other famous bit of the owl, that it can turn its head really far around. Not actually all the way around like in cartoons, but about 270 degrees. Now, I've always thought that was amazing. Humans are always like, oh, it's amazing. Owls can move their heads so far around. They can also move their heads really far down and up as well, like almost 90 degrees up and down, which humans obviously cannot do. But the reason they can do that is because their eyes are so massive and so trapped inside their heads with the sclerotic rings that they can't move their eyes. So they have to move their heads around loads because it's the only way that they can see around them. Like, you can just move your eyes, can't you? Keep your head completely still. Move your eyes. I'm sorry, owls. That's better. That's just better. It's much more convenient to be able to do that than it is to have to move your whole head around. So this cool trick owls have got, I don't know if it's so cool. I went down a right rabbit hole thinking about how people read. So here is a poem, actually, a Chaucer poem from the 1300s. I'm not going to tell you the name of the poem because it's a spoiler for Lego Story Show, but the Lego Story in a minute. But just read this, please. You don't need to make any sense of the words, but just allow your eyes to move across these words and think about how you read. What are your eyes doing when you read? I think I had learned about this for another story show, but I'd forgotten. Apparently, when you read, I mean, it happens so fast you don't even think about it, right? But your eyes do this thing called saccades. Saccades are like really fast little bits of movement. They do a saccade and then they stop, and that's called fixation. So when you're reading, you're going saccade, fixation, saccade, fixation, saccade, fixation. You're taking in about 3 words at a time, and then you're moving on. And this is how you read. And humans all over the world read in different ways. So if you're in England like me, you're reading English. Excuse me. You're saccading from left to right and stopping, left to right and stopping. But obviously in different places you would do it in different ways. And this is how humans look for stuff as well. So if we're looking for things, if the thing is really obvious, so apparently when humans search for things, it's called looking for a target. And the things that are called trying to distract us are called distractions. So if you were, say, looking for a red ball and all the distractions were blue balls, the red ball would pop out. That's like the scientific term. So you wouldn't really need to look for it. But if, say, all the distractions look quite similar to the target, like in a Where's Wally book, right? All the things that are distracting you look a little bit like Where's Wally. We start doing this saccading fixation thing. And the more distractions there are, the smaller saccades we have to do. You do this, right? If you've ever done a Where's Wally book, you do that. You take like a small area and you look and stop, look, stop, look, stop, look, stop. A bit like reading. It doesn't sound like a very interesting fact that owls do this as well. But apparently that is really interesting because not many animals that we've studied do it. We only really, I think, until quite recently knew of humans and apes that do this searching for things using saccade fixation, saccade fixation, saccade fixation. And they've checked it out with owls And owls do that too. I mean, if you imagine, if you ever seen like a dog looking for something, it's a bit more like, isn't it? Whereas owls are like, saccade, fixate. And I love how they know this, because like they were studying owls anyway, but it's easier to study this with owls. Because owls can't move their eyes. So if you were looking for something in a room, you could just do that. But the owl has to actually do a little saccade with its head. So the scientists find it quite a bit easier to do this than with other animals, because they can just put a little camera on top of the owl's head, and the camera goes like, chip, move, chip, stop, chip, stop, chip, stop, like that. I don't know, I find that so adorable. But anyway, owls and humans apparently look for things in a similar way, which is quite weird because we're not very closely related. And we didn't obviously like evolve together. Right. Oh yeah. So sticking with why owls, how they move their heads like this. I was really pleased to find this out, because we've just been learning about the heart in our human body lessons if you're watching live, and we're about to learn about the arteries and stuff. Can you please put, we've done it where we felt our trachea in the all ages lesson. I don't want you to worry about that. Don't worry about the rings on your neck. Just get your hand and very gently just touch it to the front of your neck. I don't want you to move it around. You don't have to like feel any texture. What do you observe if you just touch your hand to the front of your neck? Hopefully what you're saying is nothing. Can't feel anything. If you move your hand to the side, so go like sort of under your ear and pull your hand forward just a little bit and press gently, what do you observe now? So under the ear and a little bit inwards towards the front of the neck. Are you feeling a pulse? Yeah? That is your, it looks like this. I'm going to say carotid artery. Is it carotid? With apologies to biologists and people who speak Latin. It's your carotid artery. It's taking blood into your brain. It's a really, really important artery, and it has to pass through little holes, or your blood vessels in your neck have to pass through little holes in your backbone, your vertebrae. You've got loads of vertebrae. You maybe be able to feel them in the back of your neck. And yet, blood vessels pass through tiny little holes. Now, human beings have to be really careful with this carotid artery, with the veins and blood vessels that are coming and going in their neck. I can't believe you can actually feel blood being pushed into your head. Because those holes in our backbone are very small, so there's not much space for the blood vessels to get through. I don't know if you've ever done like any drama warm-up games. I love being in plays, me. I love not getting paid to be in plays. And when we're all stood around in a circle getting ready to do the play, we always move our wrists around in a circle like this to get them warmed up, and we move our shoulders around in a circle to get them warmed up. But whenever we get to our heads, to warm our heads up, the person leading the warm-up always says, very gently just drop your head down and gently and slowly roll it to one side, and then gently and slowly roll it to the other side. You don't warm up your neck by just like whizzing it around, because it's really easy to snag these blood vessels, and very bad things happen if humans do that. If you ever hear about someone getting whiplash in a car crash, they've done some damage possibly to the blood vessels in their neck. It can cause adults to have strokes where not enough oxygen gets to your brain. So you've got to be really careful. The owl, it turns out, just doesn't have to be that careful. Scientists got a load of owls that had died from natural causes. They didn't kill any owls. What a brilliant job. They got owls that had died from natural causes. They scanned them. They moved the head of the dead owl by hand because it was dead, so it couldn't do it itself. And they found out that their arteries, the carotid arteries, actually like pool blood. They get a bit bigger when they move. And also the holes in their vertebrae, they've got more backbone, more vertebrae, and their holes are much bigger. So there's a lot more room for that carotid artery to go around. So that's how they're turning their necks like really fast and easily without having a stroke. But the scientists didn't know why for quite a long time. They didn't know why owls. I read a brilliant quote from a scientist who said, like, we didn't know why there weren't just thousands of owls lying on the ground under the trees having had strokes because of moving their heads a lot. There you go. What time is it? I feel like I've been chatting for ages. Oh yeah, I've been chatting for quite a long time. Okay, I want to talk about two things that owls don't have, which might seem weird. I learned about something called the bird's crop for this lesson. I didn't know about the crop. It's one of those great facts where as soon as you see it, you're like, oh yeah.
Have you ever seen a bird with a real puffed up chest? You have, haven't you? Why does it have a puffed up chest? It might be because it's trying to find a mate and show off. It might be to keep warm, but it might be that its crop is very full. Here is a picture of some parrots with some full crops. Look at them, they're all puffed up. It turns out birds, when they're eating food, they can't put it all into their little stomachs all at the same time. So they've got this bit above their stomachs, which is called the crop, which is where they put food, which doesn't get digested straight away. So if a bird's all puffed up like that, it might just be that they're really full. Owls don't have them. So what do? Well, they eat like mice whole, and the mice and all the bits of bone and hair and teeth and stuff basically get gathered in a little, it's a part of their body which is almost like a sieve. So the rest of the food goes on to get digested, and all the little bits of bone and stuff from the things that they've eaten, the mammals or whatever that they've eaten, get caught in this sieve, compacted, and then the owl can't eat while all that sieve is full. Kind of like, you know, the shower water can't go down the drain while all your manky bits of hair are in the drain. You've got to get them out. So the owl has to sort of cough up this ball, this pellet, before it can eat again. And so owl pellets are quite famous. You can order them online because they're not poo, they're not vomit, they're just like, I guess it's basically the owl equivalent of all the gross hair that is in our showers. Here's a picture of an owl pellet. And really, people who've studied this can know what kind of species owl it was from the shape of the pellet, because obviously it's kind of the shape of the inside of their body. So you can get these things, pick them apart and find all little mice bones and find out what the owl ate and what kind of owl it was. I know, pretty cool. Right, just before we go to the Lego show, another fact I learned for this lesson is that owls don't have bladders. You know, the sack that we store our wee in? Owls do not have bladders. And the only animal, the only bird that does have a bladder is the ostrich. Here you go, picture for attention. Ostriches have bladders. No other bird has a bladder. And I had to look at why. And then I felt a bit silly because I was like, oh yeah, when I found out, it made perfect sense. Why would it only be the ostrich that has a bladder and all the other birds don't have a bladder? All the other birds have evolved to not have a bladder. But the ostrich doesn't care, it has a bladder. You've got to know something about ostriches, but it is quite a famous thing about ostriches. And then we'll go to Lego Story Show. Oh, I'm loving how this pillow just gives me a little nice furry barn owl chest, and it's keeping me warm. Why doesn't the owl have a bladder? It's because it can fly. Birds that can fly, they want to keep their weight down. We learned about this in the flight lessons, didn't we? Was it last year? Gravity is pulling the bird down. The weight of the owl stops it from flying so easily. So if you're a bird that flies, you don't want to have this sack of liquid that you carry around with you. So the wee just comes out, the same bit of the poo comes out on birds, except the ostrich, because ostriches don't fly. So they don't mind having this sack of wee to carry around with them, just like humans. I know, right? Okay. And on that note, it's time for Lego Story Show. I really enjoyed researching this Lego Story Show. It's something that's been annoying me in life for quite a long time, and I found out all about it and how I'm allowed to be annoyed by it. And yeah, that's just really pleased me. Right, I'm going to stop being cryptic about it and bring you over here and teach you about it too. Just pull the blinds down. Put that there. There we go. Move that. And those. Splendid. Okay. Whoops. Stuff dropping on the floor. La, 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 la. Both story shows have started with me over the last couple of weeks. That is just a coincidence. I'm not going to keep doing this, but here we go. Hi, I'm Lara from Theatre of Science, and a fun fact about me is that I really, really dislike fun facts. I just think they're a really lazy way to communicate science to children. And one of my least favourite fun facts
is the fun fact that you hear about what groups of animals are called. Science magazines and websites be all like, hey kids, did you know that a group of cheetahs is called a coalition? So the name for a group of animals is a collective noun. And there's all fun facts, just love collective nouns. Hey, did you know that a group of apes is called a shrewdness of apes? No, I didn't know that. Do you know why I didn't know that? Because no one ever says that. The only time you ever hear about these collective nouns is when it's in some sort of awful fun fact like that. Or when you're trying to enjoy yourself in nature, like looking at some geese and saying, oh, what a beautiful flock of geese. And someone really annoying comes along and says, actually, I think you'll find that the collective noun for geese is a gaggle of geese. Or then some even more annoying person comes along and says, no, actually, I think you'll find if they're in the water, then a gaggle of geese is known as a wedge of geese. A wedge of geese. A flock or group is fine, people. Let's just say group. I mean, I get it. If you love something, then you do work out your own little language, don't you? I mean, we've kind of got some in-jokes in Theatre of Science. These Lego story shows, they've got all kinds of in-jokes. It just happens over time. Here is, some people will recognise this whale earwax holder. Arza very recently met me in real life and gave me a more robust earwax holder that he has made. So this is the point, people. This is the Lego story show where my very sad Lego earwax holder gets transformed into this posh new one. At one time I was doing a Lego story show about rats, wasn't I? And I didn't have enough Lego rats, so I put the word rat on a croissant, and now croissant rat is kind of a private joke. Rat croissant has even taken off. For some reason a while ago, we had a guinea pig with a flamethrower, and that flamethrower just keeps coming back. So I understand that language builds up around things that people love, including hunting. So take hunting, for example. Back in the oldeny days, humans used to have to hunt animals to get food and to get clothing to keep warm. Now, the most efficient way to hunt an animal, like a deer, is apparently to creep up very, very slowly and carefully and silently on it behind a horse, because deer apparently don't get freaked out by four-legged animals, and then you can jump out and you can kill it. That's the most efficient way, certainly the most efficient way they had in the 1100s to kill a deer. In the 1300s, people in France decided that that way might be efficient, but it wasn't very fun, and they decided to make it more funner by making hunting into a cool sport, which involved lots of packs of dogs and lots of people riding horses. People with lots of money riding horses. And then the French invaded England, and the England got onto this as well. And hunting became a very, very popular sort of sport for posh people. I mean, in fairness, it was also quite a good way for the rich young people to practice riding horses and carrying weaponry, which was an important thing for people to be able to do in those days. And like every sport and hobby that people love, this whole new language built up around hunting. So in the 1300s, suddenly there were words for different kinds of animal droppings. All kinds of different animal droppings had a name. There were all kinds of different words for the different bits of the animal's body. And we suddenly get loads and loads and loads of collective nouns. These words weren't actually supposed to be useful. It was basically so that posh rich people, men and women to a certain extent, could learn these words and say them to each other and impress each other with their amazing knowledge. By 1486, the Book of St. Albans, written by the head of a nunnery about all the things that gentlemen should know about, it had a list of 164 different collective nouns, different names for groups of animals. But some of these were about people as well, and they were clearly just supposed to be funny, like a doctrine of doctors or a sentence of judges. I mean, okay, it's not that funny now, but at the time it was absolutely hilarious. And then the Book of St Albans became very popular in the 1500s, and lots of copies were made, and this list of collective nouns got updated, and basically the joke got lost, and suddenly a lot of important people and a lot of important dictionaries started saying that these collective nouns were absolutely the words that you absolutely had to use to be correct. But this story is part of a show about owls. So let's talk about owls. The correct name for a group of owls is a parliament of owls. A parliament of owls. Why is a group of owls called a parliament of owls? Well, it's because of a series of books. If you're looking at the screen here, I'm trying to give you a massive clue as to what the series of books was. Here's the writer, C.S. Lewis. And the series of books are, well, one of the books was The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I didn't have a wardrobe, so you've got a telephone box there. But yes, C.S. Lewis in the Chronicles of Narnia books is the first person to call a group of owls a parliament of owls. Why did he do that? Well, it's because in the 1300s, so C.S. Lewis, I should say, was writing in the 1950s. So it's only since the 1950s that a group of owls has been called a parliament of owls. It's because in the 1300s, a very, very famous poet called Geoffrey Chaucer had written a poem about a group of birds that get together to try and find a mate, like a meeting of birds. And Geoffrey Chaucer in the 1300s called this meeting of birds a parliament of fowls. Because fowl means like bird, a parliament of fowls. And then C.S. Lewis, hilariously, surely for a hilarious joke, decided to name a parliament of fowls, right? It's great, isn't it? It's great. So the whole thing, the whole collective noun thing is a joke, people. And next time you're trying to watch a group of animals and someone is spoiling your enjoyment by saying, actually, I think you'll find, fun fact, kids, can you just tell them to not take life too seriously? Group will do perfectly fine. Any group of animals you want to describe. The end. Group of carrots, group of rabbits. Hey, fun fact, did you know that a group of deer is called a group? Okay, I'm going to get over myself. It could be a pride of lions. It could also be a group of lions. Not incorrect. A group of okay, I think I've made my point. I'm gonna go. But I love that because I love knowledge, right? I want to know all of the things that there are to know in the world, and it had really irritated me for ages that there were so many different words for groups of animals. Like, it doesn't feel like science, like it's just something that humans have made up. Why do I need to remember all this? And now I don't, because it was all just for lols. It just feels so much better, you know? What else can we write off? What else do I not need to learn about? Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. That is the end of the Lego Story Show about owls. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to quickly read through my notes to check that I've remembered to say everything. Oh yeah, nictitating membranes. Did you know about that? The owls have got an extra eyelid that comes across like this and is sort of see-through so that they can close their eyes while they're flying. Amazing. But I think that's the only thing that I forgot to tell you. There's obviously loads more facts about owls, but we have to stop somewhere, people. So I'm going to go over to my Facebook page now, because I don't have any comments on YouTube, but when I'm live on YouTube, I always say, if you want to leave me a comment on my top Facebook post, then I will go and read it and say hello to you. So if you have enjoyed this, if you are enjoying what I do, you can pay me. It's this totally amazing business model that we just fell into over lockdown and is just keeping going. So I say that everything that I do is free, basically. The printouts are free. There's no printouts for the Lego Story Show. The Lego Story Show is obviously free to watch. It's all saved on my website for watching on catch up completely for free. And yeah, it's just, you can pay me if you want. If you can, then can you? That would be great. Because then this can be my job. This is literally my job. It is now the only way that anyone in my family makes money. Not our choice, but it's all worked out fine. So I'm just going to go over to Facebook now and refresh this page and see if anyone's left me any comments. So if you want to support me, you can send me, yay, comments. You can send me £5 a month, is what I say. And I will send you nice things to say thank you. Dad, you got up close and personal with an owl. Oh, wow. I mean, that is literally just an owl on somebody's head. And you met a barn owl. Oh, you did. Fun fact. Jacob, are you fun facting me? I did ask for that. I asked for that. Jacob is fun facting me and saying that ice is a mineral. All right, I mean, that is quite a fun. It's not a fun fact, is it? And this is exactly my problem with fun facts, Jacob. Fun fact, ice is a mineral. There's nothing fun about that fact unless you know what a mineral is. I want fun explanations. Tell me what a mineral is. And then the fun fact that ice is a mineral becomes interesting. I mean, you don't have to tell me what a mineral is. I'm just saying, this is why I don't do fun facts. This is why all my stuff goes on for blooming ages. Hello, Aurelia! Under a blanket on the sofa watching. Oh, that's so nice. I'm going to get my furry little... I found in my dressing up box the tail of a mouse, which I was going to just kind of like put somewhere to show that I'd maybe puked it up, but I couldn't really find a way to do that. That's why it's on the floor. Hello, Jay and Daisy and Daniel. Daddy got up close and personal with a owl at a zoo. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, guys, okay. So we don't know the name of this owl. Can you tell me whether this owl is a true owl or a barn owl? Have you been listening? Is it from the family barn owl or is it from the family true owl? That's just Dad. So that's not the owl. Go on, what do you reckon? Barn owl or true owl? There's two quick things you could look at to let you know. So you have to remember that true owls are the ones with the colourful eyes. Barn owls have dark eyes, so this is a true owl. And also barn owls don't have ear tufts, and I feel like that's a bit of an ear tuft. Obviously not an ear, the ear is further down there, but anyway, yeah, well done if you got that. I would not have got that 3 days ago. So I'm very pleased that you lot make me research things so that I got that now. Here's Jacob fun facting me again. Aurelia, hello. Jay, Daisy, Daniel, hello. Oh, Isabel made an owl picture. Whoa, what is that? Is that cardboard? What are those wings made of? That's amazing. Oh, wow, yeah. Oh, my goodness, that's so gorgeous. I thought it was breakfast cereal. I thought you'd made an edible barn owl. Look at that. Stunning. Oh, those wings are great. Wow, that's exactly like the picture that I showed as well, that kind of really graceful display of their wings that they do. Oh, so nice. I love that even the stars are cut out. Right, let's have a look. Imogen and Ophelia here. Darcy and Jackson are not here. We can't watch it live, but we'll be catching up later. Darcy and Jackson, I'm so sorry if you sat all the way through all of this chatting to get to the bit where I say hello to you. Hello! I mean, everyone else has, but they're watching live, so it sort of feels a bit more like, you know, spontaneous. We're hoping Granny and Grandad are watching from Devon. As Granny loves owls. Oh, they are watching. Yay! Granny and Grandad. Hello. Yeah, do you love owls? I love owls. Weirdly, we've had loads of room moving around in our house recently, so I'm now sleeping in a different room. And I heard this, I woke up quite a few times in the night listening to this screeching and looked out, and there was an owl sat in, like, right next to my window, but I've never seen an owl before then. Hello, Jacob and Penelope, and I haven't seen it since. Oh yeah, Isabel and Thomas there. Said hello to you. And your granny and your granddad. But hello, Isabel and Thomas. Hello to you. Jacob and Penelope, hello. Hello. How are you doing? Hello, says Ed, and there's a beautiful picture. Hello, Tiger and Bird and Banjo. Hello. Hello, Chilly Exmoor. Is it really chilly? I hope you've got snow at least to make up for it being chilly. Hello, Sebastian and Humphrey, who I've met in real life. Why, poor Beanie Boo Owl has so much abuse. Oh yeah, this guy. Yeah, I see what you mean. It is a bit sad, isn't it? Yeah, shall I? Yeah, you're right. I should. Yeah, no, you're right. That was mean. Love the costume. Thank you. I'm loving this costume. Yeah, kind of a cross between the sort of like peasant woman and a barn owl, which maybe is my true self. All right, Casper and Iris, we forgot to comment. Well, hello, you commented now. Now it's the end of my teaching week. I get to go downstairs and open my parcel. I'm so excited. White Badger, hello. Yay, owls. I've drawn owl pictures for my doctors. Doctors are clever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we think that it's the big wide-eyed stare that makes owls seem so wise, creates the impression that owls are so wise. I hope that your doctors aren't looking at you like that. But maybe they do. Maybe that would be a good way to generate trust. All right, Edmund, very excited about today's Lego Story Show. Oh, Edmund, it was you! It was Edmund who asked for true owls versus barn owls, and now you're doing a project on owls. Well, I hope I taught you anything that you didn't already know, because I didn't know that owls were different.
until you told me that. Wormy is going to get the owls. Wormy's going to get the owls? What? Oh, here we go. More from Edmund. This is an owl he found recently at one of our local museums. Oh, wow, that is a kind of, maybe it's just the small picture. Yeah, okay, so it's in a museum, right, yeah. Thank you. I must admit, I much prefer seeing images of owls that aren't tied. It really makes me upset. I don't know who decided that it would be smart to tie birds up to things with string, but I can't stand it. So I'm happy that this one is dead and stuffed. Is it a snowy owl? Oh, that's bad. I've just researched owls. I should know that, but I don't. I'm going to say yeah, because it's got furry talons and it looks like furry and warm and it looks like a snowy owl, but Edmund, you probably know more than me. I should keep my guesses to myself. I didn't look into very much about the different species. He was very interested to hear about owls' eyes and humans without dyslexia. Oh, humans without dyslexia eyes move. Oh, that's so interesting. What, humans with dyslexia, their eyes actually move differently? You still do saccade. Right, I'm going to have to look into this. I didn't know that. Maybe if I just write dyslexia, because yes, people with dyslexia read differently, but I didn't know that whole study here. Saccadic eye movements of dyslexic and normal reading. The dyslexic subjects, it says, had poorer fixation quality and smaller saccades. Interesting. So you do still, people with dyslexia do still do saccades. I'm just reading this whole, I'm not going to read all of this, but they got 24 children making saccades, and it's all a bit long. In the standard test, the dyslexic students had poorer fixation quality, failed more often to hit the target at once, had smaller primary saccades. Interesting. I'd have to read a lot more about that. She says, I'm just now reading it just in front of you. Dyslexic adolescents exhibit slower versions and saccades. Yeah, okay, interesting. So your saccades are slower. Sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? Luckily, we all know what a saccade is. Jacob, concerned that Wormy is just going to deck all these owls. Yeah, it's true. Wormy is pretty hardcore. Hello, Ed. Again. Hello, Ed. Loving these pictures. Oh, Humphrey's got an owl costume. Dude, look at that. Should we see if we can work out what kind of owl Humphrey is? Oh, what kind of owl is Humphrey? Come on, you should all know this now. Is Humphrey a true owl? Or are they a barn owl? What do you think? Are they wings? Is that a bit of toilet roll for wings? Oh my days, Humphrey, that is so theatre of science. I can't even believe it. That's amazing. Humphrey is obviously a true owl because of the horns, right? That aren't horns. These beautiful little wing tufts up here. Nice. Okay. Let's go back to the comments and scroll up again. Right, I'm just going to click refresh to see if anyone has left me any more comments, and then I will go. Because we've only got 3 Lego story shows left until Christmas. So we need some Christmas Lego story shows. 3 Christmas Lego story shows isn't too many, is it? Next week it'll definitely be time. My goodness, I mean, it's the end of November now. We've got to start quickly. So yeah, I've already done loads of Christmas Lego story shows, so we might have to start repeating. We've done like Christmas foods. I think in lockdown I just did like the whole of Christmas. I did the science of raisins and crackers and everything. Someone requested Christmas trees, which is a good one. We've done that before, but I think maybe we should do it again. Reindeer we've done. Maybe we could just do crackers we've done. I don't know. We've got 3, so we've got quite a few. Oh, hello, Violet. Hiya. Yeah, Vic sending this photo of how long owls' legs are. Yeah. Yeah, I know. There's another one that makes me sad because the owl is tied up, but here is an owl.
A true owl with the ear tufts and the colourful eyes, showing off how long its legs actually are underneath its body. Yeah, that is. I was going to say weird. It's not weird, is it? It's just the owl. But it's surprising. It is surprising. Right, is that my last comment? Does that win last comment? Yeah, I think it does. Unless Edmund has written anything else. Oh, he says, yes, you taught him. I have managed to teach Edmund something that he didn't already know. Edmund, thank you so much for this suggestion. This was brilliant. Yeah, I'm really enjoying all my knowledge. Oh, you are Matilda. The owl next to the tree. Matilda says, the owl next to the tree has been staring at me the whole lesson. What, this guy? Yeah, right? I know. Yeah. I'm noticing that these owls have heart-shaped faces and also yellow eyes. So are they like a combination of true owl and barn owl? I don't know. Right, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, I'm going to go and pack up my supporter packs for the new people who've just started supporting me. So if you want to support me, now would be a good time because I'm going to be in my living room sticking stuff into envelopes. So why not have your name on one of those envelopes? Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you all next week where we're going to do the all ages lesson about arteries and capillaries, some sort of Christmassy themed like a story show. And I will have tried to have tidied up my background and got all my beautiful worms and fungus that you have made me. And hopefully some Christmas hats as well. Okay, see you later, you lot. Thank you so much for coming.